Guys, welcome back to another video, man. You guys know the deal. Today, man, I'm gonna break down basically the whole painting process that we went through, in terms of cost, materials, all the equipment we had to use, basically just cover everything, what it takes to paint a truck like this. For those who don't know, I've been building this truck for a very long time. I'd say about, like I said, just about a year. We've done everything that you see to the truck. We did it all, you name it, man, from exhaust to wheels, paint, front end cat-eye conversion, cammed it, CAD delete, and we still got a lot more shit coming. Yes, you guys see it though, man, live in the flesh, man. For those who've been watching, they know how far this truck has come along. If you haven't been watching, go ahead and check out those older videos, man. See how far this truck has come along. But yeah, we're about 2 weeks after the truck has been painted, so the paint has pretty much dried up, hardened, so I could pretty much start driving the truck now. But yeah, man, I've been getting a lot of questions, about the painting process, as far as equipment, like I mentioned, the price of things. So I really want to go ahead and give a good breakdown, clear breakdown of what it takes to paint a single cab or just any truck in general. It's gonna be pretty much the same process, just gonna be different amounts of paint and primer depending on what you want to do with your truck. Because pretty much the case can vary. For my truck, I had to paint bumpers. Typically most people wouldn't paint bumpers, but I did because I have the SS bumper. In my case, I didn't have to paint the inside of the bed because I had bed liner, so I also saved a little bit of paint there. So yeah, man, I just want to go ahead and give a breakdown and then give you a little bit of the do's and don'ts, what I would change next time and what I wouldn't do, the deal. So let's get to it, man. So I'll go ahead and start off with one of the most asked questions, and that was, where did I get all my supplies? I actually only had to go to one store, one shop to get all my stuff, in terms of primer, paint, sandpaper, all that. And here in my area, in the Los Angeles area, that's going to be Martin Auto Color. Basically, they're going to have everything you need, man, from Bondo, paint, primer, like I said. That's the only store I really went to when it came in terms of supplies and materials. I didn't really have to go anywhere else. I'll post a screenshot of the location that I was going to right here, just so you guys could check it out. Maybe you're in my area. I'm not 100% sure if they have other locations outside of California. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they do. There's a bunch here in the California area, so I know they have some, NorCal as well. I'm in SoCal, so at least if you're in California, you go ahead and check that out. Second question is going to be what brand that I use, for all my primer, my paint. The only one that was different aside from the primer and paint, reducers, hardener, and all that stuff was the clear, which I'll go ahead and show that one as well. So it's going to be this brand right here, Shopline. You see it? You see it? Shopline was pretty much everything that we used. And overall, I would say it's some great quality stuff. I wouldn't complain at all, not one bit. For the price and the quality that we got out of this paint job, definitely wouldn't make a change in that department. So with that being said, one change that I probably would make for future projects is definitely the clear coat. And I say that not because it came out terrible. It definitely came out decent. This was our first time painting a full vehicle. We've painted small stuff before, fenders and stuff, but as far as painting a full vehicle, this was definitely our first one. So clear, let me go ahead and show you guys why. So as far as shine aspect, I definitely would not complain one bit. The truck is very shiny, but I would say in terms of smoothness, as you can see, there is a little bit of orange peel over the truck. Definitely gonna have to sand and buff out the whole truck just to get it real nice and smooth. Now this isn't because, we rushed the clear process or because we put it on too thick. It was simply because it was a cheap clear. And that's exactly what the guy from the shop had told us when we were buying that clear. He did tell us it was one of the cheaper clears in the market, but I didn't mind, in my mind, I wasn't building, a SEMA truck, a show truck, anything of that. I just wanted to build something nice that I could just cruise, that looked at least presentable, good on videos, and which it does, I'm not gonna lie about that, but I would say it does bug me just a little bit, but like I said, man, it's not a show truck, it's not a SEMA truck. It gets the job done, and if that's what you're trying to do. All right, so actually after doing some looking, I did find a clear coat, and it was my mistake, man. It actually was the same brand, Shopline, as you can see. That's gonna be, it clears up, you see. There you go, you're gonna have JC830. So I guess there's two types of this for this brand. There's like a JC555 or something like that. So basically this is the cheaper one. But like I said, man, overall, gets the job done. And I think overall what really makes a difference is probably gonna be just your experience with painting. So yeah, that's gonna be pretty much like the main thing. I know one thing he did tell me, the difference between a cheap clear and a higher price, or I guess a higher quality clear, is I guess the orange peel would be a lot less noticeable than it is on a cheaper clear. So I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day, buffing it, so not a big deal. Now in terms of the quantities, how many gallons of paint, how many gallons of primer, and to be honest, it all just really depends on what you're trying to achieve with your truck. I'd say overall, for a single cab, you could get away with a gallon. With mine, I had to do a gallon and a quart because I painted the bumpers. I pretty much basically color matched everything, you know, from the mirrors to the grill. I did it all, man. So, but if you're not doing all that, if you want to do literally just the truck, you know, just the truck, no bumpers, no mirrors, none of that, to be honest, you should be good with just a gallon. Primer, you know, depending if your truck has paint on it, you probably need the same, about a gallon. My truck already had primer on it. It was rattle can, so I still went over with the whole thing with some primer. But you really don't need that many thick coats, so you could probably do away with a little less, maybe 3/4. And obviously, you know, if you have like an extended cab, a 4-door, you're gonna need more paint, man. So extended cab, you know, we're not paint professionals. I mean, if that's what I needed for a single cab, obviously for an extended cab, you probably need a gallon and half a gallon. 4-door, probably 2 gallons. So just keep that in mind, man, if you're painting a different truck, a bigger truck and whatnot. There we go. Thought I'd move somewhere where the lighting is a lot better. There we go. All right, so moving on to one of the next questions that I got a lot about the truck, you know, as far as painting, was plastics, chrome, basically just how to paint over that stuff. So basically, I mean, the process is going to be pretty much the same for plastics and chromes. Pretty much all you're going to do is for both your plastics and chrome, you're just going to go over it with some Scotch-Brite. And then you're pretty much just gonna go ahead and wipe that clean. And one thing I can't stress hard enough is, one thing a lot of people forget to put on their plastics and chrome is that adhesion promoter, fellas. You gotta add that adhesion promoter if you want your paint to stick well and not chip further down the line. So you're gonna do about 1 or 2 coats of this, then let that dry, then add your primer, paint, clear, and it's pretty much the same thing. So, but the most important thing is that adhesion promoter, man. Get that right. All right, so the next thing is going to be what type of guns did we use to paint this truck. And to be honest, you know, one thing that I do want to keep in mind is that this was a very budget-friendly paint job. So for anybody that's, you know, wanting to or interested in painting their own truck, it's very doable because the products that we use were pretty cheap as well. So that brings me onto the guns, man. Harbor Freight, you can't go wrong with Harbor Freight. It's a $20 gun right here, man. $20 gun. We used this one for primer. We had 2 different guns. We found out that this one was actually maybe a little better on spraying the primer than the other gun that we used. Maybe it wasn't, but I mean, when we were spraying it with this one, it came out pretty good. So that's a $20 gun right there, maybe even cheaper. I think it's 15. So go ahead and check that out, man, if you want to paint your truck. And then we have the gun that we use to spray the paint and clear. Also, like I said, Harbor Freight. This gun, I would say, is a bang for your buck, man. 1.4 tip, what a lot of people were asking. Also comes with a bunch of different spray patterns that you could spray. And the best thing overall is going to be price-wise, man. This gun was only about $70. And last but not least, we have our air compressor, which is a Husky 20-gallon tank. Just a really basic compressor. You could pick up one of these at Home Depot. I believe it's like 200 bucks. Nothing crazy, gets the job done. Y'all see it though, man. That's pretty much all the supplies and materials, tools, everything we use to achieve this paint job right here. And like I said, man, we are not professionals. This was our first full paint job of any vehicle. So basically everything I showed you is very budget friendly. A real good starter for beginner painters that are looking to start painting their trucks or vehicles. So check it out, man. Check it out. But most importantly, man, it's price, right? That's the most important thing. All right, and just so I can show you guys, I have my receipts right here. As you can see, that's gonna be right there. It says right there, Martin Auto Color. So I have 2 different receipts. I had to go twice. For the first time that I went and bought my materials, and then for the second time when I had to buy just a little bit more just to paint those bumpers. Just to show you the overall total of everything. So for this, like I said, I used about a gallon and a quart. It was even a little less than a quart because I didn't use it all. I still have a little bit extra. So for the gallon, what I paid pretty much, I'll show you guys right here. See it right there. The total was $413.48. And then when I had to come back and buy a little bit more, I paid another $165. So do the math. It was around $570, just under $580 for all the materials. It actually would have been cheaper had I bought the correct amount the first time. More or less great price though, you know, versus a $2,000 to $3,000 paint job. So if we do that, add up everything right here, do a little calculator. We have our main supplies for the paint, our tools, our air compressor, and that's the total that comes out for this overall paint job. Big savings, man, big savings. But yeah, man, that's gonna pretty much cover everything. I hope I answered most of you guys' questions. If I didn't, feel free to ask them in the comments. You know, I'll try to answer all your guys' questions. For those who know, man, you guys know what's next. Gonna start working on this interior. It's not too bad, man. It's not too bad. It's actually pretty clean, but I do want some bucket seats, man. Throwing some black bucket seats, dye the carpet black, black headliner, just add a little bit of more black touches, and then that's pretty much clean, man. Obviously still got to get a little stereo, as you can see. Don't got one. There it is, man. Interior is not bad at all. But after that, we're gonna continue to add to the engine. We gotta do our E-fans, gotta do our turb skis, you know, gotta get a little more power. It's cool for a little cruiser right now, you know, just a cam and E85. It's not crazy power, but it's cool for a little cruiser. But I do want to try to hit like 500 horsepower. I feel like that'll be a fun truck just to have, so stay tuned for that, man. But that being said, man, that brings me to the next point for our next video, man. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that next video coming out. Try to have it out pretty soon. Got to get that transmission right. You guys see it, man. So for our next video, we're going to be getting our Corvette servo installed in our transmission. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. It's going to give that transmission a lot more smoother shifts. It'll definitely be a game changer for that transmission. But there you have it, man. That's going to be pretty much it for this video. Y'all know the deal though, man. Like, comment, and subscribe to the boy. And I'll see y'all in the next video.